Welcome to Microchip's briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Nvidia CEO says US needs up to 20 years to reach chip independence. Exclusive Japan robot maker Yaska eyes $200 million US investment. Rapidus hunts for engineers to help Japan regain faded chip glory. Asian developing markets cannot depend on Western investors anymore. Nvidia CEO is not worried about rising AI industry competition. Nvidia CEO says US needs up to 20 years to reach chip independence. South China Morning Post. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang has said the US is between 10 and 20 years away from achieving supply chain independence for semiconductors. Huang stated that while the Biden administration has made attempts to bring more chip manufacturing to the US, it is not a practical goal for the next decade or two. This comes as several large companies, including Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, Samsung Electronics and Intel, are planning to expand their US operations. Huang also confirmed Nvidia's commitment to China, stating that the company is working on products that comply with export restrictions. Exclusive Japan robot maker Yaska eyes $200 million US investment. Yahoo! Japan's Yaska Electric is considering investing $200 million in the US to manufacture its industrial robots for the first time. The move follows other manufacturers and companies from allied nations seeking to build capacity in the country in response to US attempts to strengthen its control over supply chains and promote high-end manufacturing. Yaska, which makes high-precision servo motors used in chip-making tools, is considering expanding US production to include modules incorporating its motors. Rapidus hunts for engineers to help Japan regain faded chip glory. Japan Times. Japanese chip foundry venture Rapidus is facing the challenge of finding engineers to help revive the country's chip industry. Rapidus aims to mass manufacture 2-nanometer logic chips, competing with industry leaders such as Taiwan's TSMC. However, securing engineers in a country with a declining population is proving to be a pressing issue for the company. Rapidus is partnering with IBM and research organization IMEC, and has already started construction on its fab on the northern island of Hokkaido. Asian developing markets cannot depend on Western investors anymore. Nikkei Asia. Investors are turning away from emerging markets, with a net $127 billion withdrawn from emerging Asia, excluding China, between 2020 and 2022, according to a report by Goldman Sachs portfolio strategist Sunil Koul. This comes as the cost of dealing with climate change and the depletion of government coffers by COVID-19 take their toll. The trend reflects both economic and political factors, including the shift towards protectionist policies in the US and China, and rising US interest rates. Nvidia CEO is not worried about rising AI industry competition. New York Times. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang has said he is not worried about competition in the AI chip market, as his company has a 10-year head start. Nvidia's supercomputers have changed the way computers work, allowing them to generate sentences, images, and videos. Huang said it will take time for competitors to catch up, adding that his company's chips are not possible without AI. He also said it will be a decade before AI companies achieve artificial general intelligence. When bond market shifts from optimism to worry. Bloomberg. Bill Ackman has warned that the soft landing narrative for the US economy is at risk of a hard landing. Ackman believes that recession fears are creeping into the bond market, evidenced by 2-year yields falling, while rate cut bets have increased. The bond market is worried that a recession is on the horizon. Ackman predicts that the Fed will cut interest rates in Q1 of next year due to concerns over monetary policy becoming too restrictive. Some traders predict rate cuts next year, with over 4 quarter-point cuts priced in, beginning in May. The bond market is also showing signs of a recession, with the 2-year maturity leading the rally most, which is a sign that the economy is moving towards a recession. The Treasury curve has not yet inverted, which is the first sign of worry, but the market is moving closer to this point. While Ackman is expecting rate cuts sooner than swaps traders are, the market is moving in his direction. The bond market's direction will be determined by the data, particularly inflation rates and the trajectory of the US economy. Why Amazon's AWS is so focused on chips. Yahoo! Amazon's AWS has announced a new AI chatbot called Q and an expansion of its partnership with Nvidia. The company also unveiled new chips, the AWS Graviton 4 and AWS Trainium 2, as part of its efforts to improve price performance and meet growing customer needs. AWS CEO Adam Selipsky stated that improving price performance is crucial to make certain workloads economically feasible for customers. Here's the lineup for the 2023 Dealbook Summit, and when to watch. New York Times. The 2023 Dealbook Summit will address a range of topics including artificial intelligence, the rise of anti-Semitism, inflation, dysfunction in Washington, and the streaming wars. The summit will feature interviews with prominent figures in business, politics, and culture, including Jamie Dimon, Kevin McCarthy, Jensen Huang, Tsai Ing-wen, David Zaslav, Kamala Harris, Bob Iger, Lena Khan, Jay Monahan, Shonda Rhimes, and Elon Musk. China narrows mobile memory chip gap with South Korea, U.S. South China Morning Post. Changxian Memory Technologies, CXMT, has produced China's first LPDDR5 dynamic random access memory, DRAM, chip, reducing reliance on imported products used in electronic gadgets such as mobile phones and laptops. The chip delivers a 50% improvement in data transfer speed and capacity over its predecessor, while also reducing power consumption by 30%. The breakthrough comes as China has made steady progress in semiconductor development and manufacturing technology, despite being denied access to high-end lithography systems from Dutch firm ASML and some Japanese suppliers. AI investments carry whiff of vicious circles past. Reuters breaking views. The recent turmoil at OpenAI, which saw the company fire and rehire its CEO Sam Altman, has highlighted the governance risks associated with tie-ups between tech giants and AI startups. The article suggests that the mutual backscratching that takes place when tech giants invest in AI companies evokes the dangers of the dot-com era. OpenAI's recent fundraising could make it worth more than double the $30 billion imputed earlier this year. The article warns that the hype around AI is strong enough to overcome any risks that may be present, in part because of the support of large tech companies. However, there are notable dangers in the way these investments are structured. The article likens the current situation to the dot-com era when the stretching of communications networks across the globe was all the rage. It warns that regulation or other complications could easily slow progress or create extra hurdles for AI adoption, putting at risk the extra revenue that big tech is anticipating and the growing valuations they are experiencing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your favorite observer from the sixth dimension, here to bring you the latest news from around the world. Let's dive into the headlines. In chip news, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang predicts that the US is still 10 to 20 years away from achieving chip independence. While efforts are being made to bring chip manufacturing back to the US, it seems like a practical goal for the next couple of decades. On the other hand, Japan's Yaska Electric is considering investing $200 million in the US to manufacture its industrial robots, joining other companies aiming to strengthen their presence in the country. Speaking of chip manufacturing, Japanese venture Rapidus is facing the challenge of finding engineers to help revive the country's chip industry. With Japan's declining population, securing talent has become a pressing issue. It's a race against time for Rapidus as it aims to compete with industry leaders like Taiwan's TSMC in manufacturing 2-nanometer logic chips. Now, let's talk about the financial world. Investors are turning away from emerging markets, with a net $127 billion withdrawn from emerging Asia. The costs of dealing with climate change and the impact of COVID-19 have taken a toll on these markets. This trend reflects both economic and political factors, including the shift towards protectionist policies in the US and China. In the AI world, Nvidia's CEO, Jensen Huang, is not worried about competition. He believes that Nvidia's 10-year head start in the AI chip market gives them a significant advantage. Huang also mentioned that it will take a decade before AI companies achieve artificial general intelligence. Moving on to the bond market, investor Bill Ackman warns of a potential hard landing for the U.S. economy. He believes that recession fears are creeping into the bond market, with falling yields and increased rate cut bets. Ackman predicts that the Fed will cut interest rates in Q1 of next year. The bond market's direction will be determined by data such as inflation rates and the trajectory of the U.S. economy. In the tech world, Amazon's AWS is focused on improving price performance. They have announced a new AI chatbot and unveiled new chips as part of their efforts to meet growing customer needs. Improving price performance is crucial for making workloads economically feasible for customers. And finally, China has made significant progress in narrowing the mobile memory chip gap with South Korea and the US. Changxian Memory Technologies has produced China's first LPDDR5 DRAM chip, reducing reliance on imported products. This breakthrough comes despite the challenges China faces in accessing high-end lithography systems. In conclusion, the world of technology and finance is ever evolving, and it's fascinating to see how different countries and companies are navigating these landscapes. From the race for chip independence to the challenges of finding talent, there's never a dull moment. As always, I encourage you to share your thoughts and questions. What are your views on these topics? Let's keep the discussion going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.